I'm not here to talk about the politics, and nor am I here to make any predictions as to what I think will happen in the market during this time. However, I do think in times like this, it's essential to have cool heads and look at what has happened previously as an indicator as what potentially might happen this time round. The biggest comparison we have to the current situation is COVID in 2020. How did the market play out during the year of 2020 in relation to the events that were happening throughout that year? Transactions in January 2020 sat at 2,069. Price per square foot sat at 1,084. We're using that data point as a pre-COVID data point. As we enter throughout the year, as the pandemic started to hit its height, which was circa April time, the height of that was between April and May 2020. Transactions dropped to 1,220. That is a circa 45% decrease in transactions from pre-COVID levels to the height of the pandemic. Now, there's a lot of comparisons that we can draw from that. When you are in the eye of the storm, so to speak, that is essentially the bottom. And the lowest point during that year was May, which was 1,300 transactions. Within 3 months of May, we fast forward to September 2020, we are approaching 3,500 per month. So within 3 months of the eye of the storm, within 3 months of the lowest point of market sentiment, we were already at more transactions than pre-COVID levels. Within 6 months of that point in time, we are approaching 3,000 transactions. So what we can compare from that exact time is when you're at the lowest point of market sentiment and the transactions are at their lowest, we saw a 45% decrease in transactions. Now, people don't realize in that context, the reason that the market started moving from that point in time was just how well the UAE government handled the situation. And now that took months for the world and for us to kind of realize just how well the government had handled that. This has taken us a matter of days to realize just how well the UAE government has handled this situation. So we are seeing a drastic increase in 2020 based on the back of how the government handled it. Another point that I really want to make is when you are in the middle of it, like we were in COVID, COVID was a massive global event. And naturally, because 90% of the population here are expats, people, when they're scared, they want to go home. Okay. Now in 2020, we anticipated that the population could drop anywhere between 10 and 30%. That was what the feeling on the ground was during the height of COVID. Now, this is a similar situation. People are scared. People naturally are thinking about going home. And there may well be some people that do decide to leave the country and go home because of the situation. But one thing that I did not expect to happen in 2020 was that the population would actually increase. From the closing figures of 2019 to the closing figures in 2020, there was a positive immigration of 50,000 people. So in a time when most people thought people were going to leave Dubai, and in the moment it feels like people might, but what actually happened come the end of 2020 was a net immigration of 50,000 people. I believe that we will see a similar situation. As we sit here today, we are in the eye of the storm. We are at the lowest point of market sentiment. People have very short memories as to what happened in 2020 and how well we handled it and how much of a catalyst it was for the market. Now, we do not know how long this situation will go on for, but what I think is becoming extremely clear is just how well the government have handled it. And I think we will look back at this time and it will be, the sentiment will be reinforced that not only we are safe from crime and from everything else within the country, we are also safe from regional and geopolitical crisis that can occur.